If you want to help fund more episodes of the Honest series, go to patreon.com/geekswelcome or join our YouTube memberships here on the channel. You can also join our Discord where we discuss future episodes of the show. And special thanks to Reckless Sarge for recommending this video for 7 years. Yes, we're finally doing it. Hello everyone, my name is Dave, and I worked for Atari. You all know Atari. We're the most well-known name in gaming history. We're known for, well, we'll get to that. But our importance need not be overstated. When it comes to the nostalgia for old titles like Pac-Man, Pong, and we will get to that, Atari is the leader for old-school memorabilia in the classic era of gaming. Even the name Atari is a Japanese term meaning to hit a target, which is supposed to be associated with good luck. Although that's a bit ironic, as Atari is the most cursed brand in video game history. Now, having a Japanese name might seem a little strange, as Atari is not Japanese. In fact, we were founded by a couple of waspy white dudes in Sunnyvale, California in the 1970s. But Atari was the early pioneer in the world of gaming. Pong, the Atari 2600, we were the gaming console of the 1970s and 80s. And people loved us. And by people, I mean consumers, because our programmers hated us. We didn't think programmers needed to be credited for the games they worked on. I mean, would you credit a houseplant for providing you the oxygen you need to breathe? Yes, I did just equate our salaried workers to a houseplant. We were bastards back then. This caused many people to storm off and make their own companies, like these guys who made Activision. And these two dudes named Steve made, I don't know, a computer company that had to do with fruit or something? Hell, those guys were so petty that Apple, that's what they were called, and Activision named themselves that so they'd appear above Atari in a phone book. But we didn't care. The Atari 2600 was riding high, so we spent $20 million to license the biggest film of the 1980s, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. That wasn't even the full budget. We spent $125 million on the game in 1980s money. That's insane. Now you think that spending that much money in 1980 would cause us to make a Titanic super game, except we only started coding it 5 weeks before release. But that didn't matter. We saw our employees as expendable cogs, and it doesn't matter what we released, so long as we released something. And after making 4 million copies, the game itself was a huge
financial failure. In fact, it caused the crash of the entire gaming industry in America and the bankruptcy of Atari. But then they were picked up by us, Trammell Technology Limited. Hi, I'm John, and I worked for Atari Corporation. Atari was then split into 2 companies, Atari Corporation and Atari Games. One was supposed to focus on the branding, while the other made games. Problem is, the failure of Atari Incorporated caused a huge boom for this little Japanese company to come in and take over the games industry. I think they were a playing card company or something? I don't know. So we tried to compete both with Nintendo, that's what they're called, and this other newcomer Sega, with our own line of new home consoles. But the stigma of video game consoles was still seen as a bad thing in the West. So Nintendo decided to capitalize off this by rebranding their family computer as Nintendo's entertainment system. So naturally, we tried to cover all of our bases. We made a personal computer that nobody bought. We made a portable gaming console that just missed out on the Christmas '89 release. So everybody bought a Game Boy instead. But we beat Nintendo to the punch with the 1993 Atari Jaguar, the world's first 64-bit console that nobody bought. So, after all these failures, Atari
was bought out by Hasbro Interactive, now Atari Interactive. Atari Interactive's first year was actually very profitable. We made Roller Coaster Tycoon, which was a huge success. But we weren't able to keep things going, as our losses in the second year
caused Atari to be bought out by Infogrames. Now Atari Incorporated. Again. See, we'd already been using the name Atari since the early 2000s when we bought a controlling share in Hasbro Interactive. But since nobody knows what the hell Infogrames even means, we just switched our name to Atari. And we were ready this time. We had Civilization, Earthworm Jim, and City of Heroes. Remember that game? That superhero World of Warcraft clone? Well, none of these franchises really took off under our name, and we had to sell them off one by one over the next decade just to stay afloat. Which led to...
One second. Okay, right there. Atari Incorporated having to file Chapter 11 in 2013 and rebranding itself as Atari SA. But in reality, we were still the same company. We then had a press release in 2014 talking about trying to find new audiences for Atari. These included LGBTQ communities, social casinos, money gambling, and YouTube being our main focus. First of all, did we actually do anything for the LGBTQ communities? I'm actually asking you because I can't find a thing about this online. Secondly, have you seen us do anything on YouTube before this video? Seriously, when was the last time you saw Atari on YouTube any time within the last decade? And third, the whole social casinos and money gambling thing was a series of hotels that went absolutely nowhere and an NFT. Do I even need to explain why that was a bad idea? Do you understand that Atari's really only a brand at this point? It's not even a company anymore. It only really exists for nostalgia purposes and because the name is recognizable. Just a brand standing behind a well-known piece of gaming history. Nothing more. So that's the history of Atari. It's probably going to stay this way until a new company scoops up all the brands when this one inevitably fails again. Give it a few years, it'll happen.
Atari, the most cursed brand in gaming history. Give it.
I want the microphone.
No, it's
my microphone.
My company.
I know how to pronounce infogrames. Want the microphone.
Mine.
It's my microphone.
It's my company.
I know how to pronounce infogrames.
Okay.
Okay.
That works.
One more time, just like that. I think we may have gotten a little off camera, but about right here.
You didn't play nicely with your brother.
But it's for a funny bit.
We're doing a bit.
It's for a funny bit. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for watching. This episode has been requested by our patron, Reckless Sarge, literally longer than we've had Geeks Welcome. Like, he's been requesting this ever since Gaming Wildlife. And so, yes, we've finally been able to bring this to fruition. And thanks to Sarge for the inspiration. Hey, if you guys want to help us decide future episodes, you can join our YouTube memberships here below. For $2, you actually get access to our Discord, the VIP section of our Discord, because our Discord is now public.
Yeah.
Anyone can access it. If you donate $5, you get to see the videos 24 hours in advance. And $10 gets your name in the episode with these people up here.
And don't forget, this is YouTube, so you gotta like, comment, subscribe. You know, we love having those conversations in the comment section.
Yeah.
No toxicity. Love it.
Yeah. And really, you know, you don't have to pay to support this channel. The biggest thing that you can do to support this channel is just watch the videos. That is the biggest metric that YouTube measures, is watch time. So watch our videos. That will support us better than anything else.
And hey, we finally got a video above 10,000 views, and we could not have done it without you. So thank you all so much for watching and sharing our videos. It means the world to us.
It's actually at 20,000 views.
Whoa,
Yes.
20,000.
Yes, this is the guy. This is the guy who was in that video, and this is my friend Jim. I've been friends with him literally for decades. Thank you all so much, and we will see you in the next video.
Peace.